let me explain a new master that may be one of your favorites, probably, if you really like business English, if you really like, and you think that in the future you can end up working for a company. The name of master is ELITE, okay, which stands for English Language for International Trade, and it's one of the most relevant masters so far here at the Universitat Jaume I, because we have been dealing with this master for 20 years now. In fact, next year is going to be the 21st edition of the master. So it's a master with some background, let's put it this way, okay? So let me explain some basic concepts about the master. The first thing is that obviously it's a 60 credits master. As most masters here at the university, it lasts for one academic year, and it starts in September and finishes the following September. In this case, we're going to start the next edition on September 2025, and we will finish on September 2026. Okay, that's going to be the schedule for this next year's master. So we're dealing with the 21st edition. That means that we already have past. Okay, we have had many students in the past, most of them currently working in many companies, both here in Castellón, in our area where the Universitat Jaume I is, but also all over the world. We have been really lucky in that sense, because the volume of people working for companies these days that have taken part in the master is somewhere between 90 and 92% of the alumni of the master. So we're dealing with evening sessions. They're going to be all from 16 to 21 in the afternoon, in the evening. The reason is very simple. I mean, some of the students are currently working in companies, and obviously they work part-time. They go and work in the morning, they finish, they have lunch, and they can come in the afternoon for our classes. And that's something that we always like, because we always have people who can share their expertise, they can share the know-how with the rest of the students in the classroom. Besides, we also have plenty of the teaching staff, the teaching force that we have in the master, who are also people who work for companies and who come to the master to offer that expertise in those fields. And they can do it in the afternoon, obviously. It's very difficult for them to do it in the morning. So that's the reason why we have evening classes. What should you expect? You should expect small groups, which are something important. All education is in English. We're going to be using English. It's the only language we will use in the classroom. It's going to be on site. All the classes are going to be physically on one of our classrooms. We haven't got groups with online materials, okay? It's on site, it's real hands-on material. We're going to be working classroom all the time, and basically it's something which is also very important, is that at the end you are going to have a workplace and you're going to have an internship in one of the companies in the Castellón area, and that's really important, because then you can test what you have learned. You're going to be using all the things that you have learned in a real environment, okay, in a real working environment. That's something that makes the difference with some other classes that we have had in the past. Let me explain very briefly the origin of the master, which is quite interesting. It all started 20 years ago. And in that year, we created the master, and we created the master based on a reality. Some of the people who came from business environments didn't have enough level of English in order to work properly for a company. And companies were complaining about that. They said that the level of English was not good enough in general in this area. People learned English, but not enough in order to work proficiently in a company. Similarly, all our linguistic students, people coming from translation, people coming from English studies, they were really good at English, of course, but they didn't know much about companies. So we decided to do something, and we decided to give an answer to those needs that the companies had. And at the end, we just decided to do this, to create a master, helping students to overcome those problems that companies have detected. And not to do so, we created that master, so that business majors and language majors could learn what they didn't learn previously in their degrees. We offer 30 seats. This is going to be the first year with 30 positions in the master. We're going to have up to 30 students. As I said, it's the first year. The limit until this year was 25. But fortunately, and we have to say fortunately, in the past we have had over 100 people asking for a seat in the master, and we had to increase that limit. And the limit has been increased to 30 seats for this coming year. So that's going to mark a little bit of difference for us as teachers as well. The entrance admission is very simple. These are the things that you need to have for sure. You should hold a university degree. You should have a B2, even better, you have a C1 certificate in English, an official certificate in English, and you should take part in an oral interview, okay? All these things are compulsory, okay? You have to know that beforehand, because we really want you to come to the first day of class understanding everything that we say in the classroom, understanding everything. And as I said before, all tuition is going to be taught in English. How are we going to be evaluating who gets part in the master and who doesn't? It's very simple as well. There's going to be a very simple way to mark, and you can more or less imagine the kind of the number of points that you can accumulate. The first thing is your academic record. The academic record should be calculated based on a 10-point system, which is the Spanish system, okay? It's the one that we follow here. If you come from any other country, the Spanish ministry will adapt your academic record. You will have to ask for that adaptation, and that number that will appear there will be your academic record, okay? That's going to be your average mark. So that's important for you to know. You will have to ask for that information. For Spanish students, people who have been studying the Spanish system, that 10-point average mark will appear in the record as well. Then, something also important is the level of evaluation, of education, of admission, okay? So, those of you who have been studying degrees of 4 or more years, you get 3 additional points. Those of you who have been studying in countries where the system implies that you only need 3 years of education in order to get a degree, you get 2 additional points. So that marks a little bit of difference, but it's obvious that, and it's logical that people who have been studying for 4, 5, 6 years in order to get the university level of education as a degree, they have an extra point, okay? So that's the difference between 2 and 3 additional points. Additionally, also important, the affinity of the access qualification. You will get 1 additional point if you come from university degrees related to the field of linguistic studies, okay? Philology, translation, interpretation, and any bachelor degree derived from them, okay? So that's very important for you to know. You will get 1 additional point, but not only you, obviously. Also people who have degrees, who have achieved a degree related to the field of trade, economics, business. And by business, we say degrees in business administration, management, business science, all of this. They will also get that additional point, okay? So you also accumulate 1 extra point. There's an exception. You should have finished your degree in order to apply for the master, except those students from a Spanish or European higher education area who still have to pass the bachelor thesis and up to 9 ECTS credits. In those cases, you can apply. In any case, this is important for you to know. You will always get in the second part of the list. Obviously, those students who have completed the degrees, either within that Spanish European higher education area system or in any other country, but with a completed degree, are going to be in the first part of the list because they have already finished. They can accumulate all the points. In case of free seats, that we hope there will be, this second group of students, those students who still have to pass the bachelor thesis and up to 9 credits can apply for one of the empty seats of the master. Which is our program? Let me explain this very easily. The students should take 60 credits. The subjects that they will have to study are these ones, the ones I'm going to be showing to you right now. These are the credits you have to take. These are compulsory subjects. These credits, these subjects are taken by everyone. These are the classes: meetings and negotiations in a business context, persuasive language and business presentations, using documents in the business environment, communication technologies in the business world, business trips and socializing activities in the business world, international marketing, international business management, and case studies. Those 8 subjects are, as I said, compulsory. They are mandatory, they are obligatory. You have to take them. Then there are 2 additional ones that you also have to take, obviously. All masters have to take them if they have an internship. You will have an internship in our case, and you will have to complete your master thesis, the final master thesis, as in every single master. Those are all compulsory, as I said. But then we have the optative, elective subjects. And we have 4. And you will have to choose 2 out of these 4 subjects. One of them is business writing. Another one is the second foreign language, level 1. In this case, we are offering French. As I said, level 1. This is for false beginners, false beginners, in order to get some level of French. And then you also have the language of marketing and product promotion, and the second foreign language, which is also French, but is in an advanced level. Okay, you have at a starting and intermediate level, and then you have from intermediate to advanced level. Those are the subjects you can select as optative, as elective subjects. Okay, very important, therefore. Great. Let me continue with explanation of these classes. Those compulsory subjects, those 52 credits, which are going to be taken by everyone, okay? And I'm going to be paying attention to each one of the subjects. You're going to be dealing with meetings and negotiations in a business context. If you work for a company, you will have to take part in different meetings and different negotiations. And these are not very simple activities if you are not used to take part in them. In this class, you're going to learn how to work with those subjects, how to work with those topics, how to deal with meetings, how to take part in a meeting, how to organize a meeting, how to be a member of the meeting, how to be chairing the meeting as well, and how to negotiate, how to offer, how to give, how to take, how to give good options, how to take the opportunity of complete a negotiation. All that will be learned during that process. There's another very important activity. It's an activity, it's a class that was demanded by companies here in this area, which is business trips and socializing activities. Why? Why is it so important? It's very simple. It is very important because companies are always complaining that most business people have problems in order to socialize with customers, either when they go abroad or when they receive those customers in their own companies, in their own environment. What should they do in a case like that? They have to learn how to deal with that. They have to learn how to create the concept of business trip, how to go to a different country, how to go to a different company, how to attend those places, and how to deal with business relationships with other people. Okay, so socializing is a very, very important topic and a very fascinating topic. And here you will learn how to deal with customers, how to deal very closely with your customers. Then you will also have an important subject, which is persuasive language and business presentations. In this case, you will have to learn how to persuade people into doing what you want, into doing what you want to sell, into forcing them to think that your product is better than your competitors. And you will have to do that in the form of a business presentation. You will have to present products. You will have to introduce products to prospective customers. So that's also very important. The next one is going to be this, in my opinion, very interesting topic, which is using documents in a business environment. And there is something also quite important. For many people, the creation of a business document is something very difficult, because they're always afraid that every little mistake appearing in those documents are going to create a problem for the company, a problem that may mean lots and lots of money. So documents have to be perfect. And in this session, you're going to be introduced to how to create a perfect document for each need, for each necessity. In order to do so, you will have people coming from different companies in our area, helping you to learn how to create those documents. As I said, it's a very, very interesting topic, and it's one of the topics that marks the difference. Our students learn how to create those documents, how to create perfect documents, how to use them for professional purposes. You will also learn a little bit about international marketing. Marketing is a fascinating topic, as you can imagine, and you will learn how to work on marketing, but not from a Spanish base, or not from a French, German, Chinese based system, but an international marketing system. Because marketing, despite being a science, applies in a different way in different countries. So you will learn from the best, okay? We have great teachers in order to teach you that. You will also learn a little bit about international business management, how to work within a business environment, how to take part in different parts of the company, and how to manage a company if it is the case. And in our case, we are really happy to know that after 20 years teaching this master's program, we have plenty of people who are now working as CEOs for different companies in this area in Castellón. Okay, so to manage a company is not an easy task. You will learn the basics of how to manage a company. Then you will have another subject, which is case studies. In case studies, you will have to create groups and you will have to create a company. And in that company that you create, you will have to deal with a case, a specific case, a specific difficult case, okay? A case where you will have to be working with 4 or 5 of your classmates in order to introduce a new product in a difficult market. Let's put it this way, okay? You will choose the product, you will choose the company, and you will choose the market. But you will have to be working in introducing the product to the market, in launching the product in that new market. This subject lasts for the whole year. And as long as you are learning more and more things in different subjects, you put all that into context in this subject. This subject in some way summarizes everything that we have been learning in the rest of the subjects. Then you will also have some basics on communication technologies in the business world. I don't think it's necessary to say that 20 years ago we were always dealing with telephoning. Right now, telephone is important. This is still important for many companies, but we are just using so many different technologies in order to communicate with our customers that you have to learn them, okay? So communication technologies are going to be basic. And for this class, we're going to divide, on the one hand, the traditional communication, on the other hand, the newest technologies that you can use. And we have professionals, both from university, but also from companies, coming here to teach you how to deal with those new technologies applied to business. Then you will have an internship. As I said, you will have to complete an internship here in Castellón, in our area, in one of the companies that works with us. And it's always important for you to know that the internship is one of the most important elements of this master, because in the past, many students, they completed the internship and they remained working, they kept on working for the same company after completing the internship. So it's also a good way to find space in the labor market, in the work market. Here we have the names of some of the companies we have been working with recently. Most of them are here quite close to where the university is. Some of them are really popular. I'm not going to be introducing any more information about them because you probably know most of them. They are basically huge names and in most cases international names. Finally, you will also have to complete a final project, as I said, okay, on one of the topics that you have been studying in the classroom. We'll deal about that. Those are all the compulsory subjects. Regarding the optative subjects, as I said, we have 4 classes, 4 possibilities, and you will have to take two of them. On the one hand, you will have professional business writing, then you will have the language of marketing and product promotion, and then you have a second foreign language, French 1 and French 2. As I said, those 4 classes, you will have to take 2 of them, not all of them, only 2 of them. Okay, that's important for you to know beforehand. Great. What is the experience of the 10 recent years? And I was just counting where most of our people are working this year. Okay, students who have taken part in the master in the 10 last years, the 10 most recent years, 77 of them are working in ceramics corporations. And this is quite shocking for those of you who are not from this area, but ceramics is the main industry here in this area, in Castellón. 77 of our students ended up working for those companies. I would say that most of them, not to say all of them, remain in the same company where they completed their internship. But these are the results. 15 people are working in the port and some of the companies around the port of Castellón, port of Valencia as well. Then 11 people are working in the logistics companies. 12 people are working in communication and mass media. 7 people are working specifically in advertising. And 9 other people are working in water, wine and spirits, integral services, car rental firms, frozen foods, very different types of companies. Additionally, some of the people decided to go to the secondary education and they are working in public or private centers. And 5 students are already our colleagues and working here at the university. They just completed the system and they ended up working as university lecturers. I'm talking about the last 10 years, okay? The last 10 years. Work placement, something important as well, okay? Because I'm just talking all the time about the internship. It's not so important. It is important. But within the internship, within those companies, where do you end up working? You tend to work either in marketing departments or in import and export departments. Of course, you can work in many other departments. You're going to learn so many things. But these are something like the 2 most important areas where our students end up working: marketing and import and export. As I said, in many others, you have cases of where students ended up working in national department, okay? But it's not the rule. I would say that 60, 70, 80% of the students end up working in those 2 areas. Then we also have some additional activities that I'm going to explain. On the one hand, we introduced recently a seminar devoted to women in industry, because we are observing these days that despite the fact that in the past 20 years ago, most companies were basically male directed, let's put it this way, companies were more prone to hire men than women. Things are changing. Fortunately, our students basically are women, also men, of course, but women are just taking the chance of trying to find a place in the business world, and we just created in the past, we're just going to continue with a seminar about women in industry with ex-students from our master, ladies who are now dealing with very important positions in different industries, not only in Castellón, but all around Europe, okay? And that's important. This previous year, we had 4 different talks where these ladies came to Castellón physically and they explained how were they able to find a good place to work within those companies, and how women are just having the opportunity to find a good position in different companies in different areas. So that's something really, really relevant, and we were really, really happy to have many ladies, many of our ex-students coming to Castellón to offer that. Okay, and this is a poster of one of the sessions. Okay, and some pictures, as you can see, from different sessions that we had this previous year. Then we have a second seminar, which is skills for success in a global market. And in this case, this is also a very important seminar because we're dealing with the experience of some of our students and some professionals who come to explain to our current students which are the necessary skills they will have to master, they will have to learn in order to succeed in this ever-changing global market that we're finding these days. And when we say ever-changing, it's because things change from one month to another. You know, experience this year, for instance, with the United States. You have to learn, and you have to continuously learn about those changes happening in the world. So we have, for instance, one of our visitors was this gentleman, Jose Reyes, who was a student of the first division of the master, and who is now the managing director of Camadeco, one of the most important companies here in our area. He just came, he explained his experience in our master. We had the visit of different people, in this case Dr. Julio Jimenez from the University of Westminster, different lecturers who offered their views on the topic on that seminar. Those seminars are included in the master's program, okay? They are generally, those sessions are on Thursday afternoon, generally. So that's the day when we have allocated those sessions. Then we also have a course in academic writing. One of the most important things is that people, they tend to have problems, they admit to have problems writing that final thesis, that final master's thesis. You will have a course where we will teach you how to deal with that document, with that report that you will have to write at the end of the year. Okay? So you will have a course that tends to happen in between the 2 semesters of the course. And then you will also have another course, a very short course as well, on emotional intelligence. One of the teachers is going to be offering you a course in order to learn how to use emotional intelligence in companies. This is a course that companies have requested us to introduce in the master. Why? Because emotional intelligence is one of the most important factors for any person working for a company. You will have to be dealing with other people, and you have to learn how to treat those people in the right way in order to get the best from them. So emotional intelligence is basic as well. We also have visits to companies. During the year, you will have to visit some companies, and they will offer us the opportunity of showing us the premises, showing us the showrooms, and it's a very nice experience. As you can see in these pictures, this is from this last year. Our students visit most of those companies in small groups, and they just have some talks. They love it. They seriously love it. Additionally, we also have some video conferences with professionals from abroad. And this year we have had the opportunity of talking with some students who are now working abroad, okay, working in different places. We have here the logos of some of the companies and some of the universities. In the second case is the University of Hong Kong, City University of Hong Kong, but also Coca-Cola, Atlanta Hawks, different corporations, different companies, different institutions, and they will explain to us their experience as well. And in those cases, obviously, we are doing it throughout video conference. We will also take part, and we have been taking part for over 10 years now, in the VBP project. The VBP project is Virtual Business Professional. And this is a project organized by the University of Southern California with the help of different universities all over the world. Okay? And it's a very fascinating activity, very fascinating topic, because our students work creating a company and creating information for a company with other students from 5 other universities, from India, from the United States, from Canada, from Australia, from Germany, from France, from different countries. We have had up to 17 different nationalities. Okay, you don't know, the student doesn't know who's going to be the partner until the moment the project starts. And that day, you will receive the names and the emails of the people who are taking part in that project. And then we work in improving some documents, some real documents. It generally has to do with the promotional documents used by some real companies. In the past, we have had the collaboration of some companies like Starbucks, Google, SpaceX, different multinationals, different American companies, really interested in getting that information from our students. Our students analyze the kind of documents they have created for real, and they offer possible improvements. And then those companies decide if those improvements can be of interest, and they offer a response, they offer price. This is a competition, let's put it this way. And we take part in this competition almost every year. Okay. This is something new. And this is the first year that we are going to have it. You may opt to have a double degree. There's a possibility of having a double degree, of having two masters, let's put it this way. And it's a double degree with the University of Verona. Verona is in Italy, okay? And in that university, they have the master's degree in languages for communication and tourism and commerce. We offer the opportunity of completing the first semester in Castellón and the second semester in Verona. In order to do so, you should have had to study Castellón, Spain, but in Castellón specifically, some subjects during the fourth year of your degree, and then additionally to take, as I said, the first semester here in Castellón of our master, but the second semester will be studied in Verona. And by doing that, you will have the opportunity, the possibility of observing, of getting a double degree, a double master, okay? Which is a good option. If anyone is interested, we'll give any more information about that at any time, okay? As I said, this is the first year we're going to be completing this option, okay? It's a possibility, a new possibility. These are the students who can complete this. These are the subjects that you should have taken, but there are always different options as well, okay? Let me show you something as well. These are some pictures from some of the sessions that our students have had this previous years, okay? Some of them are from last year, some of them are from recent years in any case. As you can see, these are some of the pictures of our students completing the master. In pictures from the last 6, 7, 8 years, okay? And these are important, this is an important piece of information, which is obviously my email and my telephone number. In case you need any kind of information, my name is Juan Palmer. I work for the Department of English Studies here at the Universitat Jaume I, UJI. This is my telephone number, this is my office number, and this is the email where you should get in touch with me if you need any additional information about any of the aspects we have commented in today's session. Finally, thank you a lot for your time. Thank you a lot for your attention. And this is it. This is my presentation about the master. I just hope you have liked it, that in some way you feel interested in it, and you may, who knows, maybe we can see each other in person next year in our classes. Thanks a lot for your attention. And now I'm here in order to answer any question you may have.
Juan Carlos, pues como no hay preguntas, si quieres, paramos de grabar.
Perfecto.
Vale, genial. Pues
Gracias.
muchísimas gracias.
Gracias a ti. Muchísimas gracias a todos los asistentes.